Hello lovelies, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video will be on this beautiful jumpsuit that you guys saw, and without wasting so much time, let's get into the video. And if this is the first time of stopping by, hi, nice meeting you for the first time. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and to my old subscribers I say thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to share my videos to family and friends. Give me a thumbs up if you find value in this video, and don't forget to watch my ads, please. So the first thing I did is to mark a straight line to serve as our starting point, and from there I am going to mark my crouch depth. My crouch depth is 10 inches, but I am adding 1 inch stitching allowance, and then I'll add 2 inches because it's a jumpsuit. I do not want it to be fitted at the crouch area, so I am marking at 13 inches. And this style is for a 6 to 7 year old, but she's quite tall, and like I mentioned as well, I don't want it to be fitted at the crotch area. I want it to be a little free there. So at that crotch area, I am marking the fullest part of my laps divided by 2. Once I mark that, I'm going to go ahead and divide this measurement into 2. You see the way I am dividing it. You can go ahead and do the same, or you can just do the normal division. So I'll make a point at the center there, and what I have there is 4.5 inches. So that 4.5 inches, I'm going to be marking it all the way from the waist to the hem of the trouser. The reason for this is because I want to divide this trouser into 2, or this pant into 2, the pattern into 2. So I'll go ahead and connect all these points. Once I am done with that, at that waist area, my waist measurement divided by 4 is 8 inches. So that 8 inches, I'll divide it into 4 as well. I'll mark 4 inches at this point, and then mark 4 inches at this point. So this 8 inches, I added 1 inch stitching allowance to it, because I don't want that part and the back pattern to be coming too forward to the front. So that's why I marked my waist measurement plus 1 inch. That's your waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch. That's what I did here. So that's what I used to mark it. So I'll connect the waist measurement to my crotch area, and then at that crotch area, I'm extending my crotch by 2.5 inches. Remember, I said I don't want it to be fitted. So once I extend this, I'll go ahead and make my crotch curve. And once I am done with this, I'm going to connect the back hip area, or the back pattern. You can see the way I'm going to connect it. Please go ahead and do the same. Once I am done with this, I'll go ahead and extend this line downward. I just gave it a little curve at their crotch area before going all the way straight, just like the style is required. So at the waistline, I'm going in by 1 inch at the front waistline, and at that 1 inch I took out, I'm going to put it back at this other side. But because there is no space, I'm going to be doing that when I want to cut it out on my pattern. Don't forget that. So going into our bodies, before we cut out every other pattern, you can see we are cutting the front and the back bodies into 2, and you saw that I folded my fabric. I made the first fold, and then I folded over again. So I'll measure and make sure it's up to my bust measurement divided by 4 plus my stitching allowance. It wasn't enough, so I refolded and you can see, and I have extra for my zipper allowance. So I marked my starting point just to mark out the label on the fabric. I am using African print, and then from there I am going to go ahead and mark my bust point, which is at 7 inches, and then I'll go ahead and mark my half length, which is at 13 inches, but I am adding 1 inch stitching allowance to it. Remember, our measurement is going to be starting from our center front. So from that center front, I'm going to go ahead and mark my neckline. And for the width of my neckline, I marked at 3 inches, and then for the depth, I am marking at 3.5 inches. But this depends on how wide or high, how low or wide you want your neckline to be. And I'll go ahead and give it a curve for a round neck. And then for my back neckline, I am going down by 1.25, and I'll connect it to the front width. Once I am done with this, I'm just trying to see if I can use my curve to mark the back neckline. And you can see the pattern it gave it. So the next thing I'm doing is to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, sorry. I'll make a mark there, and then I'll add ½ inch stitching allowance. If you're going to be using your bias to turn yours, there's no need adding this ½ inch. So I'll connect this point to my bust area. And then for my shoulder slope, I am going down by 0.75, and I'll connect it to my back, to my starting point. And then the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Remember, our measurement is starting from the center front. So I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4, and then I'll add 1.5 stitching allowance. And I'll do the same thing for our waistline divided by 4, and then I'll add 1.5 inches stitching allowance. Once I am done with this, I'll connect these 2 points. And I'll go ahead and connect our armhole. And for my armhole, this is my front armhole. I'll go ahead, you can see the way I connected it. In fact, I'm going to be making a video of a perfect body basic body pattern for children, so that I will explain all these things very well to you guys if you don't understand it. So this is our front neck armhole, and then this is our back. I'll cut the back first before going out, and then cut it on my fabric before going ahead to cut out my back one. If you haven't subscribed up to this moment, please take 1 minute to hit on the subscribe button, join the family. And to my old subscribers, I still say thank you for all your support so far. I really appreciate it. So for my back bodice, I'll go up by ½ inch, and then I'll slant it to my seam side. So this is for our pattern, our trouser pattern. I want to cut out my back pattern. So for the crotch area, I'm going to be extending this by so that we are going to mark our measurement there. And then I've noticed that the curve I made there is too sharp, so I'm going to go ahead and reconnect this just like you see me do. And then I'm adding 1.5 inches all around. Remember, we already added 1 inch on the front pattern, and I went up by 2 inches at that area, at that back center back. And then the crotch area, I went out by 2 inches. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out. I just hope you understand this. I added 1.5 inches at the center back, and then the crotch area has 2 inches. So remember, we took out 1 inch from the front. With, that's why I took it out, and I replaced it at the back, just like I mentioned. I hope you remember this. I lost the clip where I did it. So I'll go ahead and stitch on the crotch, center front, and then for the back I'll leave some allowance for the zipper, and then I'll close up the remaining part. So for our bodies, I've cut out my the lining, and I'm using the same fabric, and I went ahead to stitch on my neckline, doing front facing front, and then stitch on my neckline. I'll go ahead and make notches all around before turning this to the right side. So this is it. Once I am done, if you have light at this point, please go ahead and iron your pieces. Once I am done, I'll go ahead and make front facing front as well. I'll pick up one shoulder and then I'll open it up the way you see me do. I'll make sure that my seam neckline is matching, and then I'll start pinning every other side. Once I am done, I'll go ahead and stitch it down, and I'll do the same thing for the other shoulder as well. Just open it up, match up the seam line, and then stitch down. So for our pattern for our trouser, you can see the back one has opening for the zipper, and then the front one it has been closed already. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to do front facing front at this point, and then I'll go ahead and stitch on both sides of the trouser. Once I am done with this, you can see how it is at this point. I'm done stitching the both sides, so what is remaining is the under and then the zipper area of it. So this is where it's remaining. But before we continue, and this is my bodice after I was done with stitching the shoulder line. So we're going to go ahead and work on the armhole. So for the armhole, if you've been following me on this channel, you must have seen me do this a couple of times. I'm going to go ahead and open this the way I opened it. Then from one side of it, I'm going to go ahead and start rolling this. I'll roll it to the other side of the armhole, and I'll pick one armhole, cover it up. Then from my under, I'll take out the other one. I'll make sure my shoulder seam line is matching each other. I'll pin that place up first. I'll pin it down first, and then I'll start pinning every other side of the armhole. Once I am done pinning this, I'll go to my sewing machine and stitching down. So this is it after I was done. I'll make notches around it, and then I'll pull it out from one side. This same process is what you're going to be using for the other armhole. This is it after I was. So I decided to add belt to mine. I've been loving the effect of adding belt to my styles now. So I'll leave ½ inch stitching allowance, and then I'll pin this belt down, and I'll do the same thing for the other side. And I'll pin it down as well. Once I am done, I'll use my back body. Remember, we are doing front facing front, to cover it up, and then I'll stitch at my allowance. I added 1.5 inches allowance. You can either measure this, or you can just stitch on your allowance if you are sure of what you are doing. So I will stitch on both sides. So once I am done with it onto our trouser, I'll go ahead and fold this into two. That's hem this and then stitch it down. So this is the net I'll be using for my for the length of it. I have 4 inches. For the width, it depends on how wide your net is. So what I'm going to be doing is to bring in, you can see I'm done hemming the trouser, then I'll bring in the net, one of it. I'll start from one. So I'll go ahead and place this. Remember to leave an allowance you're going to be using to stitch that area. So I'll go ahead and start folding this. So what you're going to be plaiting depends on how much fabric you have. So as you're doing this, you stitch at the center of this net till we get to the end. Remember to leave allowance to join this. So this is mine after I was done, and this is the other one after I was done as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to bring in my bodice, and I'm done stitching it down as well. So I'm going to be attaching this to the trouser, and what I will be doing is to do front facing front as well, and then I'll stitch it from one end, from one side to the other. So this is it after I was done. Our jumpsuit is almost ready. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to close up this lower side of the trouser of the jumpsuit. And once I am done, I'll turn it to the right side, to the left side, sorry. I'll close it up just like I mentioned earlier, and then attach my zipper to it. And that's all for this tie. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and you learned one or two. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Give me a thumbs up, share my videos to family and friends, wash my ads, all the good stuff you have to do to support this channel. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.